Welcome to the Jay Sheldon Show. Happy Monday. Yeah, I know. It is Monday indeed. Danny, good morning all. Hope everyone has been safe during this crazy storm. First tornadoes and rain. Wow. Then lost power 5 times last night. Woke up to a bunch of snow. Oh, you got the variety pack. Holy crapoli. That is a nightmare. Well, glad to hear that you're okay and you survived. Tornadoes, rain, lost power, snow. Man, what the hell? That's a mess. All right, we are live on X and Rumble. We're not live on YouTube because YouTube screwed up tonight and I don't have time to screw around with them. So, the hell with YouTube because that's kind of our attitude in general anyway. Yes, that's where we are. That's where we're going. And among the many things we have to talk about on this Monday, hope your weekend was good, by the way, is that apparently some states have decided to block Trump's no tax on tips policy. What the hell? Workers might not be eligible. Tax breaks on tips, one of the policies, but apparently not all states are planning on adopting these changes. This is a nightmare. Several states not adopting a policy from Trump to lift taxes on tips with his One Big Beautiful Bill Act. U.S. tipping culture, usually compared to the rest of the world, it's different here in the U.S. A lot of employees in the service industry rely on tips to make up really the majority of their income. It's not just an extra amount of money, it's what they live on. A lot of states, businesses can pay their tip staff below the federal minimum wage because they get tips. Now, if they can show that the staff gets at least minimum wage, including tips, then they don't have to pay the minimum wage. Meanwhile, other states require businesses to pay their tip staff a higher wage, but the tips have to be split among the tip staff and the non-tip staff. Chefs, for example, will sometimes get a percentage of the waiters' and waitresses' tips. One of these policies in Trump's economic bill includes tax relief for tip workers. Well, this hasn't been adopted in a lot of states. When that bill comes into force on the 1st of January, less than a week away, some states adopting the federal policy where others are taking a moderate approach. You know, let me guess, they're all blue states. It varies. Some states are going to automatically adopt the federal tax code as written. Others managing their taxes more directly would have to pass their own legislation for the state to approve the changes. But what are the states that have indicated they will absolutely not adopt the federal policy? Well, right off the bat, I'm sure you can guess New York. First, it will require people to include a tip or overtime deduction on their federal tax return. They cited the need to protect over $1 billion in annual revenue. Yeah. Spokesman said in a statement, "We will continue finding ways to put money back in New Yorkers' pockets and will evaluate federal changes in the context of the upcoming budget, just like red and blue states across the country." Now, would you like to guess who number 2 is? Yep, you're right, California. The leadership in California has given absolutely no signal at all that they have any intention to adopt these costs, saying it wants to preserve the money to fund programs. Yeah. Estimated $3.2 billion for California. Spokesperson for the California Franchise Tax Board said, legislation would generally be required for California to conform to provisions within the federal One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Next, Illinois. Oh, yeah, of course. They will also be taxing tips in Illinois. This will be done by requiring an add back for tax deductions on tips or overtime. It includes overtime. Add back is an adjustment that's made when you're calculating tax to make sure that the revenue someone is filing is fully representational of all of their earnings, including tips and overtime. Some states automatically line up with the federal tax, including South Carolina, Iowa, North Dakota, Idaho, Montana, Oregon, but others have to formally adopt these federal policies at a state level because it has to do with taxes. So that means there will not be automatic no tax on tips for everybody because, of course, they have to screw it up if they can. A lot of states do plan to adopt some of the proposals in this big, beautiful Bill Act. Absolutely ridiculous. Financial expert lifted the lid on Trump's tax-free bill. It could actually put service workers at a risk of a catch. Last week, White House Republicans passed legislation which extended the 2017 Tax Cuts Jobs Act to the tune of multi-trillion-dollar tax breaks. The proposed law, which Trump has called the Big Beautiful Bill, will now go to the Senate. Passed promises a raft of tax cuts, including no taxes on tips for workers, beauty, service industry, restaurants, bars. Also proposes a freeze on taxes for those who work overtime and deductions on car loan interest, as well as gun silencers. Weird. But a service worker might be celebrating the tax exemption, which will be temporary until 2028. Some experts issuing a very stark warning about the pitfalls of this. Talking to Unilad's Richard Harris, the co-founder of the accountancy firm Strivex, they said the bill is certainly hailed as a win for service workers, but warned while it seems generous, there is a hidden catch. She said, let's say a bartender makes $100 in tips during a shift. Now, under this bill, they would get to keep the full $100. It's all theirs. No tax until 2028. Now, that might feel like a pay raise, especially in industries where tips make up a very large part of your take-home pay. But the financial expert who shot to Instagram fame for her hot tips on taxes is warning there's a catch. If tips are untaxed, they may also go unreported. And that can impact your credit score, mortgage applications, future entitlements to benefits like pensions, unemployment support. Often they rely on provable tax income. Say the move only substitutes, puts a Band-Aid on things by addressing the bigger problem in the service industry. Why are service workers, already underpaid, by the way, being handed temporary tax breaks instead of substantial wage reform? Removing tax on tips is just a short-term fix in a sector which is crying out for structural support. So, a good thing, a bad thing, mostly a good thing, but there are some states you'll get nothing. Nothing at all, which you should not be happy about in any way, shape, or form, for sure. Here's an embassy diner waitress who is not exactly pleased. Oh, I'll bet I didn't have this page queued up, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. Take a listen.
It's disgraceful. People live off of tips. So for her to do that is just, it's disheartening. It's upsetting. Zoe. I work at the Embassy Diner for 2 years. It's very disappointing. I was looking forward to that when the president was running, so it's a little disappointing. It's all my livelihood. Really, we live off of tips, so getting taxed on them and losing money is definitely a big hit, and it makes living a little bit more difficult. And now knowing that it can't happen in New York is a little frustrating. Frustrated? It's like losing money, so it's hard, especially when everything's so expensive in life right now, and that's my livelihood. That's how I eat. That's how I feed myself and my family. So
There you go. Here's an idea for you. Move. Get out of blue states. That would probably help. Insane. Absolutely insane. All right. The headline is, they know what you're thinking. What am I talking about? I am talking about tech companies, internet, online. This guy is going absolute bonkers viral because he got an ad for the exact model of watch he broke when all he did was think about it. This guy had this watch for years and it broke. He did not do any research. He didn't Google the watch brand or the model. He didn't. I'll tell you what, let him explain it to you as best he can. This is insane. They know your thoughts.
I've had this watch for many years, and it recently ripped. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't search for anything. I only thought about buying a new one. I only thought about it, which is the crazy part, because I go into Facebook, and the first thing I see is this. Same brand, same everything. It's a Casio G-Shock, whatever. How do you know? How? It's just fucked up.
Didn't research it, didn't ask friends, didn't talk about it, nothing. Thought about it only. He logs into Facebook, and that very, not just the brand, the model of the watch that broke pops up in an ad. What is that? They know what you're thinking. This is weird. Weird at best. What can I say? It happened. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Where are we? Oh, this is where we are. You know what's in this cup, don't you? That, my friends, is a hot, fresh cup of the best coffee on the planet. Full flavored, full bodied, never bitter. It is Blackout coffee. Unbelievable. My favorite pitch black espresso. Brutal Awakening is also great. It's a dark roast, full of flavor. Stay free, stay awake, Blackout coffee. They have absolutely the best coffees on the planet. For the holidays, take a look at their flavored coffees. By the way, bit of a little late, but it's still the holidays, gift giving. Your friends still popping over for New Year's or between Christmas and New Year's occasions. You want to serve them something great. Look at that peppermint mocha, candy cane. They've got pods. They've got instant coffees, pumpkin spice, of course. Man, that looks good. Fantastic. Holiday bundles are still available on all these great flavors and all these great blends. Now, for a lot of your favorite roasts, you can now have them ground for you. Yep. And Blackout Coffee's got all kinds of cool merchandise. They do pods, they do instant, they do cold brew. Unbelievable coffee made from premium beans and available right now. They roast your beans only after you place your order and then ship them out within 24 to 48 hours. You get a fresh bag of beans, or in some cases, ground, and it's available right now. Head over there, Blackout Coffee. You use the link in our show notes down there and get yourself a bag. Try it. Try it. Just give it a try. I promise you'll love it. You'll be back for more. Use our link and use the code J20 at checkout for 20% off your first order. 20% off your first order. Plus, at Blackout Coffee, they always have specials and sales and all kinds of ways to save even more money. Blackout Coffee, thank you, folks, for being a part of the shoe here. All right. Danny says, the weather is messing with my reception. Keep refreshing, have to watch later. Sorry. Looks okay on this side. On Rumble, X, I haven't checked, but it should be all right. So, all right, we'll keep an eye on it. All right. $14 million in gift card fraud. And guess who's behind that? Yep, illegal aliens. Another day, another expose of illegal alien crime. Turns out 3 men who committed $14 million in gift card fraud in Texas were, give me that surprise shocked look, illegal aliens. Christians Petrovsky, Romans Trubrevics, and Nermans Olvesikas. I know, they're from Latvia. Those are the 3 men who are accused of fraud, according to a news release from the Texas Financial Crimes Intelligence Center. All 3 men entered America illegally and for the express purpose of committing criminal activities. They came here to commit crime. They're accused of gift card cloning, according to the TFCIC. In the time of their arrest, they had over 400 gift cards in their possession. Authorities say the illegals were stealing multiple cards a day from multiple stores and have been doing that for most of this year, 2025. It was an organized and hugely successful racket. Biden admin made it extremely easy, of course, for foreigners with ill will to enter the U.S. Just come on in. In fact, Democrats practically invited criminals to come into the country. They're still trying to protect those criminals from being arrested by ICE officers, of course. Biden-Harris admin allowed at least 18,000 known or suspected terrorists into the U.S., on top of a whole lot more murderers, rapists, thieves, drug traffickers, fraud people. Gift card cloning, if you don't know, involves the theft of an unactivated gift card. They go to the stores and they steal these ones that are not yet activated. And then they open the gift card packaging, copy the electronic number right off the gift card, and then reseal it. In the gift packing, return the gift card to the kiosk at the store where the card was originally stolen. Now, you go in and you buy the card, you load funds into this compromised gift card, and then the criminal can constantly check the balance of the card. Once he sees you put money in there, sucks it right out before you can even use it. Consumers need to if you're going to buy one of these cards, you've got to check the packaging very, very thoroughly. Make sure there is no way it could have been opened. All the seals are intact. You got to look for any excess glue, any damage to the packaging, anything, and reject it when you find it. It means that card was likely tampered with. These 3 illegal knuckleheads charged with fraudulent possession of gift cards, first-degree felony. 2 of the men being held in Dallas County Jail. 1 is in jail in Garland, Texas. The 3 men told investigators they usually steal gift cards from about 10 stores a day, 7 days a week. And they've done that since May of this year. That's a lot of cards. Again, they came to America from Latvia specifically to commit crimes. Exactly the kind of people you and I want to keep the hell out of here, and the Democrats not just want to bring in, but then reward them when they get here. Isn't that nice? Yeah. That's who you voted for, blue states. That's what you're going to get. And speaking of get, maybe time for a little comeuppance. Buckle up, Tim Walz. FBI Director Kash Patel teases a major fraud action is in the works in Minnesota. Bum, bum, bum. It ain't going to be good. There are already a lot of concerns about the scale of fraud in Minnesota. Revelations over the last month indicating they may be running this amount into the billions. That's billions with a B. Billions of dollars. And Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, his response has been, shall we say, lacking at best. And then more allegations went viral. Independent journalist Nick Shirley, who has done an incredible job. If you're not following Nick Shirley on X, you need to be doing that. His reporting has been spectacular. He just put out a video that looked into a bunch of Minnesota child care centers. He had trouble finding at the child care centers any children. Yeah, child care centers, and none of them had children. He did find one of the centers that had trouble spelling the word learning on the sign over the door, misspelled learning. And now FBI Director Patel has shared some rather good news for us. The FBI has already begun surging assets into Minnesota to investigate the fraud. Latest information likely to help out their ongoing efforts. He explained that they'd already secured 78 indictments and 57 convictions in the fraud that was already under investigation. To date, the FBI dismantled a $250 million fraud scheme that stole federal food aid, which was meant for vulnerable kids during the time of the COVID pandemic. Investigation exposed sham vendors, shell companies, large-scale money laundering operations, all tied to the Feeding Our Future network. That's the name of the group. 78 indictments, 57 convictions. Defendants, get a load of this names. These are the defendants. Abdulwahab Ahmed Mahmoud, Ahmed Ali, Hussein Farah, Abdullah Nur Jesso, Ashraf Farhan Hassan, Osman Kamara, and Abdurrashid Bixidul. Sound a little, yeah, that's what I thought. Each one, I love the way I say those names. Everyone charged in their roles for ranging from wire fraud, money laundering, and conspiracy. They did not just engage in what really is absolute historic fraud, but they tried to subvert justice as well. Ahmadinejad Mohammed Noor and others charged for attempting to bribe a juror. $120,000 in cash tried to bribe a juror in their case. They pleaded guilty, sentenced, including a 10-year prison term, and in restitution, $48 million. $200, which you can just kiss that goodbye. You're never going to see it. But they believe there's a lot more to take down. Patel said the FBI thinks this is just the tip of a very large iceberg. The investigation is ongoing. A lot of individuals also being referred to immigration for possible further denaturalization and deportation. Bye-bye. Good. Been a long time since all this will be dismantled. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent already reported they're looking into aspects of the fraud, including reports of money going overseas to terrorists. How nice. And people locally have been calling out Tim Walz, as he deserves, other Minnesota officials for a while now, because they basically have just ignored it. They have done nothing to deal with it. Hopefully, the FBI will be taking a look into who knew exactly what, when, and maybe even why. But Tim Walz, things are close. You feel them walls closing in on you? Yeah, that's because they are. Unbelievable. You know, we reported on some other state, I forget which one, but this is just going to keep on going. It's just going to keep on going. We reported on Canada's MAID program, which legally allows them to kill you, or you to kill yourself. It's a complete nightmare. And now, not that anybody should be surprised, but the next state to legalize doctors prescribing death, New York. New York Governor Hochul announced that she is going to sign a bill which legalizes medically assisted suicide for adults with a terminal illness. She is passing the Medical Aid in Dying Act, MADA, to the genuine and deeply held belief that government must respect the rights and the will of the people it serves. That's a quote from this idiot. To qualify, you have to be mentally competent and have a prognosis of 6 months or less left to live, according to this bill. The bill also makes it clear that anyone who makes the request for medically assisted suicide must not be considered suicidal, and taking medication to intentionally end one's life should not be considered a suicide. What? This move lets New York join the club of some 12 states now, 12 of them, District of Columbia included, that preach suicide as a form of medical aid in dying. You know, it's a good thing we're not on YouTube Live tonight, because this show wouldn't be allowed on YouTube because we're saying suicide. Oh, yeah. You're okay on any other platform, but on YouTube, they censor things so badly, you can't even talk about serious subjects like this one, which is ridiculous. They will chop the hell out of the show because they don't want you talking about it. Like that's going to make anyone it's just ridiculous. The act would allow individual doctors and religiously affiliated healthcares to decline offering suicide as a form of treatment. Those who are suicidal must promptly transfer requesting clients to a healthcare provider who is willing to permit the prescribing, dispensing, or self-administering of suicide medication. This idiot governor said, I heard stories of a parent or spouse pleading for an end to the suffering. I'm all too familiar with the pain of seeing someone you love suffer and feeling powerless to stop it. She lost her mom to ALS. She said, I've never had any form of terminal illness, but I watched my mom fight cancer for 5 years and die. It's not an easy thing to watch. I conclude that it's even harder to fight. Yet that doesn't mean we should let our government allow the terminally ill to kill themselves as a form of so-called health care. The entire framing of this bill adopts suicide into society as a medical treatment. Yeah. They're putting suicide as a remedy. It's kind of a permanent remedy. The prognosis of a lifespan that acts as a qualifier for medical suicide is a theory. It's an educated prediction. That's all. And it is never 100% guaranteed. You just don't know with 100% accuracy. And when you're talking about death, that's kind of final. You don't come back from that. J.J. Hansen, anti-physician-assisted suicide activist, died from terminal brain cancer. At the time of his prognosis, he was given 4 months to live. Yet this activist was 3 years, 3 months, and 18 days late for his appointment with death. That allowed him to meet his newborn, who doctors said he would never get the chance to meet. He didn't live 4 months. He lived 3 years, 3 months, and 18 days. There you go. What if he had used medically assisted suicide after 2 or 3 months? He would have missed 3+ years of his life. But they're going to keep on doing it. 12 states, now 13, plus the District of Columbia. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Russian-Ukraine peace deal? We don't talk about this very much, but I saw this article and I thought it was interesting enough to bring it to you. Again, these are the kind of things you'll see headlines in every news outlet everywhere, but just wanted to chat with it briefly because in a presser with Zelensky, Trump revealed the one issue that is holding up a Russian-Ukraine peace deal. The meeting between Trump and Zelensky that took place yesterday at Mar-a-Lago, White House of the South, all done. Trump said, we could be very close to a deal to end the war between Russia and Ukraine. Post-meeting press con, Trump said he and Zelensky made a lot of progress during the meeting, discussed about 95% of the issues holding up a peace plan between the two nations, said it was the deadliest war since World War II. We'll see if it gets done, he said. It's very close, certainly, and adding nobody would have a chance at even getting close to where it is now. Nobody would have thought that was possible. I spoke by phone with European leaders, including Emmanuel Macron from France, Finland's Alexander Stubb, Poland's Karol Nawrocki, Norway's Jonas Gahr Stier, Italy's Giorgia Meloni, UK's Keir Starmer, Germany's Friedrich Merz, NATO's Mark Rutte, and the European Commission's Ursula von der Leyen. He remarked he and Zelensky thought it was appropriate to touch base with those officials who lead countries, as Trump has noted in the past, that are much closer proximity to Russia and Ukraine than, of course, we are here in the U.S., which would make sense. When it came to specifics, Trump said the land was probably the thorniest issue holding up the peace deal. Some of that land has been taken. Some of that land may be up for grabs. May take over a period number of months, said the president, and you are better off making that deal now. Here is the president on that particular topic.
Your mind, sir, what are the thorniest issues still unresolved after the?
Well, I think the land you're talking about. Some of that land has been taken. Some of that land is maybe up for grabs, but it may be taken over the next period of a number of months. And are you better off making a deal now? Look, let me tell you, they have been very brave. They fought very hard and continue to fight very hard and do tremendous damage. But Russia would like to see it end, and Ukraine would like to see it. And I think it's time to end. And a lot of very brave people, a lot of people that are dead right now, unfortunately, because I've said, and nobody's disputed it, that if the election weren't rigged and stolen, 2020, you wouldn't have had this war. It would have never happened. And it didn't happen for 4 years. Never was even thought to happen.
There you go. So apparently the biggest thorn in the side of any kind of a peace deal is the land. We'll see what happens. We'll keep an eye on it. Like I said, we don't talk about this particular subject very much, but it's important, so I want to bring it to you, let you know what's going on out there. Oh, I love this story. Oh, yeah. Screwing around, it's FAFO is what it is. Muck around and find out. A musician who canceled his Kennedy Center performance over Trump's name being included with the Kennedy Center is finding out that his actions have a few consequences. Sorry, but it's just the way it goes. Christmas Eve jazz concert was supposed to be held at the Trump Kennedy Center, and it was canceled. Musician Chuck Red hosted the concert for the last several years. He said he canceled it because the Trump name went up on the building. So he, being a Trump deranged syndrome victim in one of the worst ways, canceled the show. Now, Red is getting to find out that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Center's president, Richard Grinnell, notified Reed the center intends to seek damages for him pulling out for partisan political reasons. Oops. How do you like this? Grinnell wrote, "Your decision to withdraw at the last moment, especially explicitly in response to the center's recent renaming, which honors President Trump's extraordinary efforts to save this national treasure, is classic intolerance and very costly to a nonprofit arts institution. Regrettably, your action surrenders to the sad bullying tactics employed by certain elements on the left who've sought to intimidate artists into boycotting performances at our National Cultural Center." Grinnell additionally got a bit of a dig in at Red in the process, saying Red's event had been lagging considerably behind their other Christmas and holiday offerings. The contrast, he says, was dramatic. Red also got ripped off, or ripped on, by another Kennedy Center official. Public relations, Roma Daravi. Any artist canceling their show at the Trump Kennedy Center over political differences isn't courageous or principled. They are selfish, intolerant, and have failed to meet the basic duty of a public artist to perform for all people. Boom. Grinnell posted on X he would not let this go by without consequences. The arts are for everyone, and the left is mad about it. Despite the left throwing all kinds of tantrums, Trump Kennedy Center continuing to put on great events, including the Kennedy Center Honors, bringing a lot of donations in to help restore the building. Some of those people now upset when the building was falling into disrepair. Where were they? Where were your voices back then? So all you idiots on the left can keep tossing fits. We don't care, and it isn't going to get you anywhere. The show will go on without you. Without you. Why does this mic keep cutting out? Is it my headsets? I don't know. Seems to be. So, there you go. Got consequences. Keep mucking around. Keep finding out. Hey, this is a cool story. Santa got pulled over by the cops. Yeah. This happened in Ohio. President Trump had some fun talking with kids on traditional New Year's Eve NORAD's Santa Claus hotline. He joked they were tracking Santa's movement, and he assured kids that Santa was good. He cracked another joke about coal, described Santa as being a bit cherubic, like a cherub. Important not to forget leaving cookies out for him, or he might be disappointed. But Trump assured kids that Santa would bring them some good presents. Well, it turns out Santa did have just a little bit of a run-in with the cops. He was going through Ohio with Mrs. Claus at his side when Sergeant Mark Robinson of the Fulton County Sheriff's Office thought Santa was going just a little bit too fast, so he pulled him over. However, when he realized who he had pulled over, he could not help but find the humor in it, especially when the jolly old elf let him know that he had a concealed carry permit. Here's the body cam footage.
Santa!
CCW, I'm not going to move until you say it again.
Santa has a CCW?
Yes, sir, you have to.
Times are rough.
You got to protect me.
Are you... what's the last name?
Claus.
Yeah, so, you know why I'm stopping you?
I was looking down, I didn't even check.
Okay,
I have no clue.
So I had... Speed limit is 55.
Yep.
There's a lot of deer out here, a lot of people that are pulled right out in front of you, so your reaction time is not as good as 55, correct? Santa, do you have your driver's license out?
Can I get out?
You sure can. Where you guys headed?
Right here to Delta. My daughter works at the boss wants me to come up and do Santa for
Oh,
kids.
cool.
Oh, you gotta unlock it. Santa's 100
Listen to
years
the
old.
bells.
Oh my gosh. This is a video of the night.
You know what's funny? I just left Berkeley.
There goes my
We
presents.
just left Berkeley, and the sheriff was... Are you guys the sheriff was in Berkeley, are you?
No.
We just seen the sheriff. They were sitting in the fire department.
No, you're in Fulton County now, so
We went by him and pulled in and waved in and he got a kick out.
just slow your speed down a little. I mean, Santa. Slow
I'll
your...
get Rudolph on you.
It's Nick, you know.
You don't mind if we get a picture? She gets a picture with you.
No!
All right. Get a picture of
Good. Whoops,
Mrs.
hold on, man.
Oh, yeah, you don't drop that. Get your picture, camera.
Let me find my
Too small.
use this phone here. Get your camera.
Sorry about that. I got to protect Rudolph.
And the North Pole isn't what it used to
Oh, this feels like the North Pole, I'll tell you. All right. You guys have a wonderful night. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Anyway, let him go. No ticket. Just a warning. On he went to deliver all your presents on time. That is so cool. Hey, guess what? Good news. More good news. She's back. Yep. Another edition of We Love This Lady. It's Lindsay, which on X is at RightNUFC. If you want to subscribe, she's amazing. Lindsay is otherwise known as the president of the We Do Not Care Club. We love her, and we always air her latest adventure, and that's this.
Hello and welcome to all new and existing members of the We Do Not Care Club. I started this club for all women in perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. We are putting the world on notice that we simply just do not care much anymore.
By the way, did you notice that her eyeglasses match her neck pillow?
This will be the beginning of our 2026 announcements. They are not meant to offend, but simply give clarity to what we will and will not accept in this new year. So let's go ahead and get started with today's announcements. We do not care if the new year reveals who was only comfortable with us when we were struggling. We do not care if you feel left behind this year. We sent notice, you just didn't read it. We do not care if we stop answering questions that should have been answered with common sense. We do not care if the only thing we're carrying into the new year is boundaries, not grudges, not guilt, not other people's expectations of who they want us to be. We do not care if we outgrow rooms, routines, or relationships, and we don't circle back around to explain why. We do not care if we rest more, say less, and choose ourselves unapologetically. We do not care if you miss the old version of us. She has retired. We do not care if our availability feels different this year. Access is no longer automatic. We do not care if you're waiting on a response. Patience builds character. We do not care if you are offended by our boundaries. It wasn't built for your comfort. We do not care if our energy feels guarded. It is. We do not care if you call us cold. We're just no longer warm to disrespect. That concludes our announcements. For our new and existing members of the We Do Not Care Club, go ahead and put in the comments what we no longer care about in 2026 so I can add those to our list. Thank you.
Yes, the WDNC, We Do Not Care Club. Melanie, we love you. Keep posting, babe. Oh, man. All right. We're going to wrap it up for a Monday. Thanks, folks, for popping by, whether you're watching us on our replay or live on X or Rumble. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. And we will be back again tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, for the Tuesday edition of the Jay Sheldon Show. Enjoy the rest of your day, folks.